Hey everybody, Jason from iAnimate here. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. In today's snippet, we are going to talk about rotary gallops and transverse gallops. So when I'm approaching animating an actual gallop gait for an animal, I ask myself a few different kinds of questions. So does the character have a flexible spine? Or is it more of a straight-backed animal like a horse or a zebra or a giraffe? Because there's certain types of animals will have a certain type of gallop gait, right? So there's a rotary gait and then there's a transverse type gait, okay? Let's talk about some of that. So the rotary style gait is basically a pattern in which the feet fall front left first, okay? Then the front right, okay? And then the back right, and then the back left, right? So it basically goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's for flexible style animals, right? So basically like a cat or a dog, cheetah, leopard, they will all have a rotary style gait. They're also meat eaters, right? So a horse or a zebra or giraffe kind of gait would actually be a transverse, right? So it would basically be front left, front right, and then it will zigzag right over to here. It'll be back left and then back right, right? So you basically get this transverse style pattern, right? And therefore are plant eaters, right? So the meat eaters, the carnivores, will have a rotary style because they have a flexible spine, right? And that gives them that sort of pattern, like where they can actually go to a rotary style. So like in a horse, you would never get a pose where you would have all four legs stretched out like this, right? Because they have a stiffer spine, right? So they have to kind of teeter-totter like a rocking horse almost, you know, so that you can feel like the horse is kind of doing this. But in flexible style, they have this sort of like gait where they can actually do this. They can compress, do the gather, and then they can actually spread out all the limbs out, outstretched, right? So I animated a rotary gallop here, just as a sort of an example, because we have a character called Raquin, who's sort of like a, I don't know. I mean, if you look at the character, it looks almost like a rodent, you know, looks like a rat, but it has sort of like the pudginess and the length of a cat, you know. So for this, I did no suspension. What does that mean? It basically means that there's no in-air pose, right? That you'll always have at least one foot on the ground at the same time. Okay, so this is a rotary style gallop. Right, so let's go through that frame by frame. So basically we have the front left hitting, then we have the front right hitting, right? And then we have the gather, and then it's basically going to be this foot hitting first, the back right leg, and then the back left leg hits afterwards, right here, right? So we have that no suspension, right? Now, if the character was running a little bit faster, then it might have one suspension, and that means just it's suspended in midair, right? So we have one suspension here. And you would see this a lot like for cats and dogs. Let's go through that frame by frame. So same thing again, rotary style, right? So we have front left, front right hitting, okay? And then we have back, we have the in-air pose. This is our suspended in midair, right? That's one air suspension, right? And then we have the back right leg and then back left leg. So that we have that rotary style, right? So we have that one suspension. Now you can have two suspensions, like if you see a character running really fast, like a cheetah or a leopard or something like that, where between this pose here, where they're thrusting up into the air, they actually have another suspension right there. And that's two suspensions, right? So you have the gather, and you also have, so we have this one here. This is the air where all four limbs are outstretched. So you'd never see a horse like this. They have like the one suspension in the air where it's sort of everything's sort of gathered together, and then they come back down, right? But you would never see a horse actually do this. And you often see sort of signs and billboards like for horse racing or something like that, where all four limbs are out. The horse cannot do that because of their spine, right? So you have the front left, front right, You have that one air suspension right there, back right, back left, right? So we get that rotary style. And then like again, after the thrusting period, you get that one air suspension there, and then you get the gather, and it's the second suspension, okay? So we have that kind of a style run. Cool, right? So then I did a four-legged Maya cycle based on the one air suspension, which is kind of cool because, like I said, like this character almost looks like a rat, you know, because it's got the rat tail, you know, and the big ears, but it has the sort of proportions of a cat. And it's not really a realistic animal. But like I say, if I'm going to approach a character like this, then I determine like, is this a meat eater or does it have a flexible spine? Then I'm going to incorporate the rotary style run on this character. So we have that rotary style. Now this is sort of like a heavier type cycle, but if this was more of a rat, like a smaller kind of rodent style, then I would delete out a couple of those keys and make it a little faster. So the same style, but this would be if it was smaller, right? And you can feel it kind of like almost like a chipmunk, right? You can feel like how fast that would be if that was translating along. And then usually what I try to do is give my overlap on the ears and the tail a little bit more of an animated feel to help it sort of ground it, to give it a little bit more of a full feel.